inviting me here. And I just want to give a round of applause to this young brother here for stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing. I was really scheduled to be at a hearing downtown today, of the Department of Health hearing that was pertaining to a major project in my district, until I did get the call about today. But I thought it was more important that I be here to give you my view of Stop and Frisk, and I did put that off and have someone else attend because I wanted to be with you today. So, thanks to be able to come in. But just to get into the point of the Stop and Frisk, as Mr. Quash mentioned, there's a lot of things and videos of me being in the forefront of these struggles and fights with Stop and Frisk. But then there's a disturbing YouTube video that some people are trying to divide us when we come to the forefront of getting close to success. Before I became a state legislator, which I represent the South Bronx, I've been stopped and frisked many of times from coming from the gym in the night, still sweating, coming out the gym and being asked, can I have your ID and where do you live? And I like this young brother mentioned, I got fumed and was so enraged that they asking me something, and I know where the thought was stemming from. It was from racism and from stereotyping. So I actually just rebelled and refused because I didn't do anything wrong. I was actually in front of my house, which the officer didn't even realize. I was just reaching home. So at the time when he asked for my ID, and I said, I don't have any ID. I live here. So he says, where do you live? And I asked him the reason why. Why are you asking me where do I live and where am I coming from? I'm an adult. Did I commit a crime? Did I do something wrong? Like you said, present the facts as to the intrusion of why you asking me these questions. Was there a crime committed with someone with my description or what? So bottom line, he found out I lived where I lived because then I started asking questions to have his badge number because I was really willing to take it to that extent of fighting this officer for stereotyping me in the way he did. But we was able to get it resolved. We talked it out, and he apologized at the end because of the approach that I dealt with him in. See, if I was reacted in the way I really wanted to by telling him what I wanted to tell him because I didn't, then it would have been a different story. But like he said, I know about the central booking situation and all of that, which was unnecessary because we put ourselves in these positions sometimes by the things we say from our mouth. So just talking about that, I've produced a pamphlet that's legally written that says what to do if you're stopped by the police. Tips that may save you from a night in jail and can even save your life. It's here for everyone to get a copy of. I pass it out to every young man in the public schools of my community and district. And usually with political mail and things come from politicians, people throw them in the garbage because they're tired of status quo sayings and political mails. And I agree, because that's why I don't do it. But I'm giving valuable information that can save their lives. And I saw young men, after reading the topic of the brochure, actually took it, folded it in their pocket, and some even folded it up in a trifold and put it in their wallets. So I know it meant that much to them. So take a copy home with you today. You feel free to duplicate it and distribute it. But as the brother here mentioned about in my district with the young boy, 4-year-old boy, Lord Morgans, that was shot and killed in a gun battle in my district. I was in Harlem that night when it happened, and I got the call that night when it happened, and I left and I went directly to the scene when it happened. And I was there. I've been an advocate for Stop and Frisk from day one, because before I was a legislator, and I knew of the injustice and unfairness of this, after I became a legislator, what would it look like me being a victim of Stop and Frisk, now being in a position to do something about it, to waver the other way? It doesn't mathematically add up and sound correct. But yet you have those out there who's trying to create the division. So at the scene of the young man that was shot and killed, unfortunately, the young boy rather, which we was able to finally raise the money to actually bury him from business people. A reporter came to me because he knew, and if you get my brochure handout here, I'm the introducer, the sponsor of the bill in the New York State Assembly to do away with illegal stop and frisk in our state government. This is what's untold. I'm the sponsor of the bill. And you'll see a photo of the rallies that came out that was up in Albany where legislators in the conference would not come out to speak to the stop and frisk or about it because the reporters were there in Albany. Here I am. I stood out and said it was almost a conspiracy or an attack on black and Latinos in New York State. This doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. The mayor admitted it. The crimes and the guns that's discovered in New York City, majority does not come from stop and frisk. So back to the situation with the little boy in my district, the reporter came to me because he saw me upset, looking at this little boy being carried away from being shot and killed. Who wouldn't be seeing a little boy 4 years old shot and being removed on a stretcher in your district over senseless gun violence? I was very upset that day. So the reporter tried to take the opportunity to ask me, what do you think about stop and frisk now? But I knew it was a trick question. But I gave him the right answer. And my answer exactly was, if you could prove to me that stop and frisk would have prevented this 4-year-old boy from being killed, then I would reconsider my stand on stop and frisk. I said, if you could prove it to me, that it would have prevented the killing of this boy, then I would reconsider my position on stop and frisk. And in media the next day, another legislator changes his stand on stop and frisk. That's what the media does. They try to create controversy and write stories. But yet my record shows the total opposite. I've been on the forefront of